Thankfully, no lockout today. Hello. Let's continue with our investigation. We had just returned. I can't remember what we were just doing. Were we speaking to Dr. Sight's daughter? I think that's what we were doing last time. And we found out that like some of the files, like the Van Zeke autopsy files, were gone. And we think Sholmes might have taken them. And Iris got really weird too and left once the daughter, Maria, right? Maria Gorey, or something like that, said she recognized Iris, and Iris like dipped. There's a lot of weirdness going on. We're heading back to the crime scene to see if we can get some more details here. Maybe Gina will be here. 2nd November, room on Fresno Street. The police are still busily investigating in here then. But Gina's nowhere to be seen. Where is she? Yes, it has been blissfully quiet, hasn't it? Perhaps she's out investigating on her own, practicing what her boss taught her. Well, I expect she'll be back before too long. Shall we wait? Actually, oh, it's like case on the ground. No. There's something different about this room since the last time we were here, isn't there? Oh, the chair's broke. Well, the chair always broke. The stool. We could always use the time to investigate more thoroughly. I don't think this stool was broke last time. Oh, I guess it was. This is new though, right? This old trunk wasn't here before, was it? Oh, it appears to be made of metal. It must be very heavy. I wonder to whom it belongs. Get it open then. There are some initials on the outside, look. TG. Tobias Gregson. Right. Let's ask one of the policemen if they know how I came to be here. Oi! What do you think you're doing? Here's Gina. Yep. That's my trunk, that is. Hands off. Gina. Oh, where were you hiding? I don't know. You leave something untended for a few seconds and every Tom, Dick and Harry's got his greedy eyes on it. Just a wild guess, Gina, but... What? Spit out, Odo. Is it fair to say that you've only owned that trunk since this morning's trial? What are you trying to say? Come on. This trunk goes with me everywhere. Always has. Where have you been the last year? Try not to incur your wrath, mainly. That's Gregson's initials on it, I guess, right? So... Your boss. You should hear them talking at the yard now. They should be ashamed of themselves. They're saying that it was the boss who killed all them bludgers. Ah, you mean the whole Reaper thing. That's right. Gregson is like involved in like the Reaper organization, potentially supplying them information from within Scotland Yard. Yeah. Apparently, the boss was investigating stuff that no one else at the yard knew nothing about. Stuff to do with all them criminals what got off scot-free. Yes, the ones prosecuted by Lord Van Dijk who used bribery and corruption to evade conviction. Well then, obviously it was that bloomin' Reaper giving the orders, weren't it? But why would people be suspecting Inspector Gregson of being involved in the killings? There was a notebook hidden in his office. Oh no, this doesn't sound good. It had details about all the crimes that have been pegged as the Reaper's work. What? No. Did you see it, Gina? Did you see that notebook? They wouldn't flamin' let me. Because I'm just an apprentice, apparently. Stop it, Tom. That word keeps getting said in work as well. When I'm on feckin' voice calls my manager, and I always have to stop myself from laughing. Well, it was me who found it, and he was my boss. That's right. I was pretty miffed about it, so I sneaked a peek at what it said anyway. Oh? That's our Gina. The secret notebook. So, you managed to see what was written in Gregson's secret notebook anyway, did you? Way I see it, it's my right to read what he wrote. And what he had written, and what had he written, Gina? dates, times, places, names, an whole long list of them. All details about the bludgers supposed to have been done in by the Reaper. But there could be an explanation for that. Perhaps it was a record of the Inspector's investigations into the Reaper's activities. Exactly, that's what I said. That's the first thing you'd think, right? As it happens, it was full of names I recognized anyway. Well, the Reaper's targets were almost exclusively known leaders of London's criminal underworld. Well, yeah, but there was one name right at the end of that was a bit odd. At the end of the list, you mean? I'm pretty sure the date against it was 31st of October. Oh, the day before the Inspector was found dead. So, what was the odd name? It weren't like a name I've ever seen before. It was something like, nah, it's no good. I can't remember it. I don't think it was an English name, put it that way. Well, we're currently dealing with two suspects who are not English, right? Am I very loud today? Right, we've got the French guy and the Italian guy, right? The two members of the red-haired league. They're both not English. De Rossi and De Russo. There's also Giselle Brett, or Asa Shin, but she's been dead for a while now. Asogi, but we deal with a lot of like foreign characters, and it's like we're already like a Japanese person in England. We're dealing with people from different countries, so oh dear, what a pity. There was something else too. I don't know if it matters, but the same name kept coming up over and over. Shin it was. Don't suppose it means anything, but yeah, there we go. Asa Shin, yeah. Giselle Brett's name, right there. Did you say Shin? Hey, what? It does mean something. Lord Van Zieks knew the name too. He mentioned her as well. The woman who actually did the deeds. Now, we find out her name appeared in Gregson's secret notebook. That's right, we found out that, yeah, she was out of the organization, the Reaper organization. She was the one potentially doing the actual taking out the targets. And we know she's a killer anyway, so. Investigations. We haven't seen you for a little while, have we, Gina? Well, of course not. I've been busy, ain't I? Investigating and that. The lads at the yard are trying to trace the boss's movements the day before it happens. The day before. That would be the undercover investigation into the Red-Headed League, then. Only the boss didn't go, did he? You found some cove what was pretending to be him, didn't you, Odo? Yes. It was Mr. Vigil who actually went to the park on Lime Street that day, posing as Gregson. Well, anyway, you ain't the only one turning stuff up. I've got my own ways of getting results. Oh, where'd you find Gina? Oh, the dog. Oh, yeah. When me and my partner here get together, there's nothing we can't track down. Right, what was the name of the dog before it reveals its name? Fuck. I think it was like the last case, the one with Enoch Drebber. Fuck, I can't remember the dog's name. Shit, I can't remember. Oh, no, Toby. Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. He's such a faithful friend. He named him after Gregson, that's right. So, have we tracked anything down then? I wouldn't have got that. What do you think, eh? Of course we have. Can't tell you, though. Police business, innit? Ugh. Anyway, the point is, if you lot ever need any help, you know who to turn to, right? Me and the Hellhound here. Right. Because he looks oh so hellish, honest. The Hellhound. Gina, about your Hellhound there. Right, here comes again. Chief Inspector Toby, you mean? He's the pride of the force, he is. In Japanese, police dog means something quite different, and not altogether nice to those involved in crime. Huh? But Here in Britain. It's a wonderful compliment, it seems. For a canine, at least. They're just like like pigs? Is that what they like? Should be. After all, in the Great Exhibition case the other day, it was Toby here who managed to locate Drebber's workshop. Maybe it's time for another demonstration of what this super dog can do, eh? Do we have something the Chief Inspector could catch the scent of, I wonder? Gregson's pocket watch, maybe?
Take that!
Well, Chief Inspector Toby, if you wouldn't mind having a sniff of this. Oh Lord, he's sniffing. He might be a little too keen, don't you think? God. Chief Inspector made short work of Gina there. Ah, look what he's gone to. Oh my, that trunk clearly still has a very strong scent of Inspector Gregson. In other words, it must have belonged to him. Gina, your initials aren't TB, hey? Or well, TG. Alright, a fair cop, I suppose. I nearly got away with it too. You always talk so proudly of Chief Inspector Toby's nose and what it can achieve. Did it not cross your mind that he might identify something that was right next to us? Yeah, that was a bit of a bloomer, weren't it? That's enough now then, Gina. Hey! I think it's time you told us the truth about that trunk. The metal trunk. It weren't like that. It just weren't. What are you talking about? I know what's going through that head of yours, but that ain't what happened. Alright then. What did happen? Well, like I said before, we were trying to trace the boss's movements. So I let Toby here have a whiff of the boss's overcoat. And as soon as I done that, he went off like a shot. Straight to that sandwich. To his sandwich, not to a bag of chips. Oh, sandwich the person. Depot, right? Mr. Naruhodo, I believe Gina means the witness. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that sandwich. Yeah, he had it hidden between them wooden boards of his. The boss's trunk. Where the fuck do you have it? You mean when they heard the sound like a gunshot and all piled in here? Exactly. He nabbed it from the scene. Oh, fucker, hey. Goodness. Me and the Chief Inspector gave that sandwich a good grill, and then you know what he said? I thought it might fetch a good price, and the chap wouldn't be needing it anymore, so... But that's all I did. Nothing more, no, nothing less. Would you Adam and Eve a cheek of it, eh? Stealing the dead boss's stuff to flog. So Miss Venus wasn't the only one to meddle with the scene of the crime then. How could they? So anyway, that's how it happened. And it's a pretty decent trunk, so I figured I might as well make use of it. Is there something wrong with that, eh? Well? Maybe you and Mr. Sandwich should try to find the answer to that question together. What's in it, though? I think perhaps that trunk should be turned over to the police, don't you? What are you on about? I am the police! I am the police. Gina, if you wouldn't mind, could you maybe examine it? Yeah, alright then. Do what you want with it. Alright, let's have a look. Thank you. We should make a detailed record of our examination of the evidence. Gregson's trunk has been added. Inspector Gregson's metal traveling trunk that was removed from the scene but subsequently recovered by Gina. Ruh-roh. What's the matter with Toby? Why is he acting so aggressively towards me all of a sudden? Mr. Naruhodo, be careful. It must be the trunk. Oh god! Sit! Toby, oi! What are you doing? You're gonna lick his face off. Mr. Naruhodo? Mr. Naruhodo? Gina, quickly, hail a carriage. Fuck. Jesus, huh? Fucking mauled. 2nd November, 4:57 PM. Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Well, shit. Oops. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, are you alright? Miss Sato? Ah, conscious again at last. A blessed relief, my dear fellow. After all, to drop dead after a moderate licking by a small terrier, most unseemly. What is or isn't seemly is irrelevant here, Mr. Sholmes. I decease. I'm so glad there's no lasting damage. How are you feeling? Fine, thank you. Did you bring me back here? What's this on my head? Bandage? Sadly, we had no ice. So, that's a compress of sugar water. Sugar water? Don't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a first aid treatment that my father taught me. Oh, thank you. So, let us take tea when you're feeling up to it. But of course, no sugar in the patient's cup. Ugh, the bump on my head is throbbing sweetly enough, don't worry. Hehe. Whenever you feel ready, then. Can we talk to Sholmes? He's vibing back there. Thank you for your concern, Mr. Sholmes. My dear fellow, think nothing of it. I must say, I was quite startled when I heard that you'd been attacked by a dog. For a moment, I feared that infamous murderer of so many had come back from the dead. You mean, the professor? Fortunately, I see your prized throat is unscathed. That stiff, turned-up collar of yours obviously afforded some welcome protection. Was I that close to death? All I really remember is the dog licking my face over and over and over again. Well, if you wish to avoid such troubles in future, a little mustard spread on the cheeks should do the trick. I should think that would balance the sweetness of your bandage rather splendidly. The cheeks. Watch it. Oh, we can do that. Alright, guess we get some tea. Hopefully Iris is here so we can chat out what the fuck happened in the morgue. 2nd November, Sholmes is sweet.
Den Schlund es mir verbrannt, ach Hopfen deine Wut.
I thought it sounded German.
Her mit dem Knacker ich
What on earth is going on in here? Am I having a bad dream? Ah, no. It's an old German folk song. Rather a fine rendition, I think. That's the least of my concern. Is that Professor Mikutaba with Kazuma's mask? Iris? Iris, what's the matter? What's going on? Who's that sprawling, that relaxed gentleman over there? Iris, is she even listening? Excuse me, sir. I do apologize for troubling you whilst you're singing so merrily, but would you be kind enough to explain the situation? That's Professor Mikutaba, isn't it? Well, that worked. A crooning gentleman and a mute young girl. A rather tantalizing juxtaposition. And one that appears to have incited the gods' deduction within me to find their voices too. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... What has Iris done? There's a fucking broken teapot on the floor as well. The strains of reasoning within me are playing now as a delightful duet. One melody sings of a reunion full of nostalgia, whilst the other is a morose theme about the great secret you're trying so desperately to conceal, Iris. She turned as white as a sheet. So as usual, you've instantly seen to the very heart of the matter. And by the time my own brief performance is over, I feel sure this gentleman's song will reach its finale. So then, to Music Land, where all is sweetness and delicacy and harmony. Pray, do enjoy Herlock Sholmes' latest logic and reasoning spectacular. Let's go. Topic 1. Man's identity. Firstly, we consider the gentleman's nationality. Clearly, he's a German with no grasp of the English language, as evidenced by the Germanic song he sings and his apparent inability to understand when asked to desist. So, why is the man here at all and in such apparently high spirits? He is zonked. The answer, of course, Iris, is clearly known to you. Indeed, we need only follow the gaze of those bright young eyes to unravel that particular part of this mystery. Why is Iris clammed up to? The reason for the man's mildly irritating warbling is revealed by the herbal tea. You obviously offered our German guest a cup of your latest herbal blend. The tea's delectable flavour has made the man's spirits soar, and resulted in this joyful ditty tumbling incessantly from his lips. Sholmes, he is asleep. He is gone. I eagerly await sampling the flavour myself, that I may join the fellow in this state of elation. Now, to the next question. Why can't Iris talk, or is she refusing to? Who exactly is this gentleman availing himself so thoroughly of the settee? As it happened a number of years ago now, a certain gentleman of German origin engaged my services in solving a particularly delicate case. He required the retrieval of letters once sent to an acquaintance that might have proved problematic. You find the song? In order to conceal his noble identity, he also arrived at my office in a mask. The gentleman's name was Wilhelm Gottrich Sigismund von Ormstein. Who? The King of Germany. Oh. If my memory serves, the mask worn by this gentleman is identical. That's fucking Kazuma's mask. Yes, there can be no question. That mask belongs to the King of Germany. It would appear that His Majesty remembers the fine service I afforded him, and has decided to show his face again, mask and all, in order to express his gratitude. A well-mannered monarch indeed. Wouldn't you agree, my dear fellow? So, the identity of this masked visitor is in fact my former client, the King of Germany. Indeed, his son is currently in London as well, enjoying the wonders of the Great Exhibition. Well, we'll find out who it is. I think it's Professor Mikutaba. Topic 2. Girls' Silence. Which leaves us with one remaining imponderable. Yes, you, young Iris. Is it a real song? But your apparently inexplicable silence is unable to hide the truth. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside that knapsack. No, okay. A 5-point note, I believe. I must say, as your compatriot, I'm deeply saddened. It would appear that you've allowed yourself to be bribed into silence by His Royal Highness, earning yourself some spending money in exchange for keeping quiet about the King's secret. And now, the final piece of the puzzle. What is this secret you strive to hide with your silence, Iris? What is Iris doing? Ah yes, we need only follow that brief involuntary twitch of your eyes to find the answer. You were attempting to abscond with that coffee cup. That's the handle of the teacup, right? Or the teapot that broke off. My favorite coffee cup, in fact. Or should I say, the handle of my favorite coffee cup. It appears that His High-Spirited Highness broke it in the midst of his hijinks. Which leads us to the sad truth. My favorite coffee cup has been broken by the King of Germany. And Iris, you tried to conceal it from me. I shall have a bill sent via governmental channels to the German royal family for its replacement. To hide the coffee cup. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this painful puzzle. Yep. Seems accurate.
Modend wie ein Feuerberg, den
With your silence as well, the fellow's jovial warbling rather rings in the ears, does not? Ah. Mr. Sholmes, I must say something does rather trouble me. Pray, Mrs. Sato, do tell. His Royal Highness doesn't appear to have moved a muscle since we arrived. Ah. And you haven't said a word either, Iris. Yeah, Iris took off from the morgue. If Mr. Sholmes has it alright, you might as well own up to it now. Your reasoning isn't entirely without substance, I must admit. And one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Yet another grievance, Mr. Naruhodo? Surely not. Well, I actually read the story of that case recently, the one you were just describing. And according to that at least, it wasn't the King of Germany, it was the King of Bohemia. Goodness, was it? Yes, that's quite true. Master Guts, the prince, testified to that in court. Oh yeah, from the balloon incident with Enoch Drebber. In his words, I've come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia. The little kid, that's right. I would ask you to keep that minor error to yourselves. It could easily become quite a scandal. I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that it's our turn now to make some corrections to a number of minor errors that may have slipped in. Yes, even Mr. Sholmes is willing to admit he might be slightly wide of the mark this time. Although it's clear that Iris is definitely hiding something. We need to find out the truth behind this mysterious scene. But one truth is incontrovertible. My favourite coffee cup is no more. So, shall we embark again on a joint presentation of Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular? Let's go. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Bum, 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 bum. Firstly, we consider the gentleman's nationality. Clearly, he's a German with no grasp of the English language. As evidenced by the Germanic song he sings and his apparent inability to understand when asked to desist. So, why is the man here at all, and in such apparently high spirits? The answer, of course, Iris, is clearly known to you. What was Iris looking at? Indeed, we need only follow the gaze of those bright young eyes to unravel that particular part of this mystery. The reason for the man's mildly irritating warbling is revealed by the herbal tea. Right, what did Iris look at? So what is some mix of herbs that give you the urge to sing? Goodness. I should like to try some. And I'd like to hear you singing, but this man... How long does he intend to keep up with that tune, do you suppose? Where's the fucking music coming from? As I said, he's been stock still the entire time, and if you look closely, his lips aren't moving either. Ah. I'm not sure what's actually responsible for the spirited singing, but I suspect the answer lies at the end of Iris's gaze. Where did Iris look? Is it the record player? The gramophone, yeah. Wait, this is a gramophone still rarely seen in our own country. Hi, bro. The sound certainly appears to be coming from the horn. But machines singing? That can't be right. Science and technology aren't changing the way rapidly, Mr. Naruhodo. What's right is changing too. Oh, it's too much for my brain. Well, at least we find our answer. Alright, it's coming from the gramophone.
Take that!
The reason for the man's mildly irritating warbling is revealed by the gramophone. What the heck happened? That's one of the Sholmes things where you do like break apart his deduction. We've done a few of these. Indeed, for no well-bred gentleman would break into an obscure folk song when making a social call. In other words, this gentleman isn't singing at all. In fact, it could appear that the fellow is unconscious. Are you caught up on the streams, Farrell? I can't remember if you were. I don't know where you, because I know you were looking to backwatch a few. We ended last stream with but no, you're all good. No, it's still the same case. So we had outside the court, we had gone to do a bit of investigating, and it eventually led us to the morgue. So we went and spoke to Kazuma, and we found out a bunch of information basically about Mr. Vigil, and we met Dr. Scythe, who was like the white-haired, the silver-haired, like mortician lady from one of the previous cases. We met her daughter, and because we believe that the daughter might have seen some of her mum's reports on the Reaper, the steampunk one. Yeah, so her daughter looks very similar. She wears like a plague doctor mask. So Courtney Scythe did the autopsy for the supposed autopsy for the Reaper or the professor back in the day. We found a bunch of information. She also did the autopsy for Van Zieks' brother. And a bunch of stuff was I can't remember all the details from those things, but we went to look at the files, because she was quite talkative and she was quite friendly, and we went to look at the files for the Van Zieks stuff. I can't remember why exactly it's in that last stream, but we went to look at the files, and the Van Zieks files were missing from the morgue, and the last person who was here before they were gone missing is Sholmes, apparently. And the daughter recognized Iris, and Iris just left. She like ran away. So then today we went to the crime scene again, where Gregson was killed. Because now we believe Gregson was involved in this like group of people who were acting as the Reaper of the Bailey, right? Like the ones who were killing the criminals who were acquitted by Van Zieks, or the ones who got off free in his cases. And Asa Shin, Giselle Brett, the Swan lady, was the one who actually did the killings. The Neighborhood Watch pays again from Hot Fuzz, yeah. Like Giselle Brett was doing the killings, and Gregson was doing like his own investigations, and he was providing them information from inside Scotland Yard. So we went to the crime scene again to see any information, to speak to Gina. There was like a box, like a metal box on the ground that had Gregson's initials. And Gina appeared and claimed that the box was hers. She brought Toby the dog. We let Toby smell Gregson's pocket watch, and he started barking at the box, showing that it was Gregson's. I haven't actually looked at it yet. We have it in evidence now. But Naruhodo, or Rinosuke, picked it up, and Toby started going fucking mental, licking his face. And he passed out, I guess, and was brought back to the consultancy room. They were waking up, made sure he was okay. And then we've come down to get some tea with Sholmes and Sasato, and we walked in, and Iris is there after she fled the mortuary. She's very quiet, she's not talking, and there's a person asleep on the sofa holding a teacup who looks to be Sasato's dad, wearing Kazuma's mask. There's a shattered teapot on the floor. Iris is refusing to talk. There's a weird German song playing, and we're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. Sholmes' initial deduction was that the man on the sofa is the King of Germany, who he has helped in the past and who has come back for more help or something like that. We don't know why Iris isn't talking. We think Iris is not talking because she broke Sholmes' favorite coffee cup, and she's just trying to conceal it. So the two things we're trying to like deduct are like who the man is. I believe it's Sasato's dad, and why Iris isn't talking. And the one the deduction we've just broken now was that Sholmes was claiming that the man on the sofa was somehow singing this German folk song in his sleep. But we proved the song was coming from the gramophone. And that's where we are now. The music seems to have stopped now. I ask you, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Why would I have purchased a recording of that gibberish? How should I know? Well, never mind. On with the deduction. Who exactly is this gentleman availing himself so thoroughly of the settee? As it happened a number of years ago now, the accent dropped. Let's catch up, no worries. There's a lot of story in that last stream, so if you want one to watch, that's a fun one. Because I'm rereading these parts now, the accent drops and this is just the read. So a certain gentleman of German origin engaged my services in solving a particularly delicate case. He required the retrieval of letters once sent to an acquaintance that might have proved problematic. In order to conceal his noble identity, he also arrived at my office in a mask. The gentleman's name was Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigismund von Ormstein, the King of Germany, supposedly. If my memory serves, the mask worn by this gentleman is identical. Yes, there can be no question. The mask belongs to the King of Germany. It's not, it's Kazuma's mask. So now we need to break this. Although we've already established that it was actually the King of Bohemia. It seems Mr. Sholmes intends to persist with his Germany theory for some reason. Come to think of it, the young prince was wearing a mask as well, wasn't he? So we're talking here about the prince from the last case, who was on one of the balloons. I can't remember what he looks like, though. Plans to watch the VODs while I build the rest of the wardrobe tomorrow. Sick. Master Gotts, the boy whom you had in tears. What the fuck did Master Gotts look like? I don't want to look up in case of spoilers. He was on the last case, though. Don't remind me, or anyone else. Do you suppose all members of the aristocracy of mainland Europe wear masks? I'm sure they do. Well, probably anyway. The point is, that mask doesn't belong to any king. No, that's right. As we well know. Yeah, he was blonde. Yeah, I can't remember what he looks like, though. I'm gonna look it up quickly, just see. Put it in my head. Oh, also, Feral, we found out that... so we're trying to wonder why the box wasn't at the crime scene originally. And we found out that when Gossip, Venus, and Sandwich all, like, stumbled onto the crime scene and found Van Zieks with the body, Sandwich actually stole the box and tried to, with the intention of pawning it off. And the reason they got it back was that Toby the dog followed the scent trail to him, and Gina got it back. Of course he did, yeah. Because we can identify the true owner of this mask. It's Kazuma. It's fucking Kazuma's mask. Where are they? Yeah.
Take that!
Yes, there can be no question. The mask belongs to Kazuma Asugi. In other words, my memory is sublimely unreliable. No, he admits it. Only you could truly try to make that sound positive. Kazuma's mask has been languishing on this metal chest for several days, though that doesn't explain why the gentleman is wearing it now. Is Iris trying to cover up that he's asleep or something, like she's hiding his eyes? Ah yes, stealth 100 time. But it is now a simple matter to determine our guest's true identity. Just take off the mask. After all, the gentleman is unconscious. We need only excuse ourselves in advance. Gently lift the mask and peer beneath it. Did Professor Miko Taba just take it off? I don't believe it. Ah! Father! You see, Iris is kind of clammed up for everything. I'm afraid something must be... No, I think not, Mr. Sholmes. Then it would appear our logic and reasoning has once again revealed the truth. This mysterious visitor... It's just Sasato gets to do it, that's fun. It's my unconscious father, Yujin Mikotaba. Logic and reasoning, or just looking and saying. Yujin Mikotaba. Not the King of Germany, huh? Right, what's up with Iris now? So he said, which leaves us with one remaining imponderable. Yes, you, young Iris. But your apparently inexplicable silence is unable to hide the truth. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside that knapsack, right? What's the actual truth? Why is Iris not talking? So that's a £5 note poking out from Iris's knapsack, is it? Oh dear, I can't be sure. Most money that we encounter is in coin form. I know. I'm not even sure if we've seen any banknotes here in Britain at all, have we? But anyway, Father would never have paid money for Iris's silence. He certainly seems like the silent type himself, though, judging by his present state. There must be some other reason for Iris's silence, I suppose. Perhaps what Iris is trying so hard not to give away with her eyes is something entirely different. That's the handle of the cup. Please look at the knapsack. Now I think about it, Iris always wears that little bag on her back, doesn't she? Yes, that's right, though it's easy to forget about it because you can't see it from the front. There are 2 little felt dolls attached to it as well. Are there? I had no idea. I don't remember ever seeing them before. Is it possible there's always a £5 note poking out from her bag that I just haven't noticed before too? I couldn't say with absolute certainty, but I think it's unlikely. What the fuck's a Persian slipper? This slipper features in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, doesn't it? It does. When I first saw it there on the mantelpiece, I very nearly fainted with excitement. Doesn't Iris keep her 11s in there? Yeah, slipper was never mentioned in the stories. We could swap it for the Japanese equivalent of a slipper for fun. In other words, for a wooden Gita sandal. But then it wouldn't be possible to hide anything inside. Which matters because... Oh. She's looking at the thing? She's looking at the slipper?
Take that!
Nope. Wrong. Oops. Iris hasn't been treating it with the respect it is. This is like... what was this, like, fake scenario? We have a proper look around. We can't really see much from this angle. Iris is refusing to talk, surely because she's trying to hide something. So all this must be related to some secret she has. I certainly don't wish to force her into revealing something she'd rather keep to herself. But that might mean your father never opens his eyes again. Don't you think that might be a little melodramatic? What's Iris hiding? In the teapot, maybe? It's a fucking big text box as well in the way. It's inside that something as well. Inside the chest, maybe? This metal chest, it contains important documents, doesn't it? Yeah, it's details of all the cases Mr. Sholmes has worked on over the years. Written up by Iris's father, if I'm remembering correctly. Iris insists that the chest is kept locked at all times. Oh, it's open. Ah, okay. Chest is open. Okay. She never once showed me inside. Well, its contents are invaluable to her, I suppose, and entirely irreplaceable. But look at it now. The catch is unlocked for once. Ah! So it is. It's hard to ignore. Ah, okay. Very. I've never seen that chest unlocked before in all the time we've been staying here at Baker Street. What's in the chest, Iris?
Take that!
Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside that metal chest. An excellent observation, for upon closer inspection, there is something different about the chest appearance. Did Iris find out about her dad or something? Is that what it is? Remember, Professor... I don't know if you were here, you saw the part from the VOD, Farrell, but Professor Mikutaba almost revealed that we were trying to keep any discussion of John H. Wilson away from Iris. Specifically from Professor Mikutaba. Now the two of them are alone together. I'm wondering if she's found out and she started digging through the chest or something. Uh-oh. kept locked at all times, yet now the catch is open. Evidently, this is something to do with your refusal to speak, Iris. But it's a simple enough matter to incite you to speak, I'm sure. I merely need to open this chest. Here we go. No! Hurley, don't! Oh god. Jesus Christ. It's a Sholmes! Hurley! He's dead. Never! Oh, Hurley, I told you not to open it. Ah. Do you find your voice now, Iris? Ah! In other words, what just happened clearly reveals the truth here. Yes, the real reason for your silence until now is... This is somewhat different to the usual dance of deduction you perform with Mr. Sholmes, isn't it? Ah, he's fucking knocked out, huh? Well, he's left me alone on the ballroom floor, so I'm going to have to dance this next part solo. And anyway, I need to get to the bottom of this for my own peace of mind. Now then, Iris isn't usually the silent type, so... You mean you don't actually know the answer yet? Despite that knowing the point of the finger before? Mrs. Sato. Sometimes a man needs to point his finger first and think later. Oh. Well, if you say so. I think we better examine Iris more closely and try to rescue the situation then. There's her little dolls, huh? For some reason, this knapsack is really standing out as suspicious to me today. Oh, is it? It's quite sizable enough for a sizable secret, that's what I say. Perhaps it is, but we certainly can't open it up to look inside without Iris' permission. No, you're right. Who knows what might pop out and punch us. Oh, the key. Okay. And she opened the chest, right? Or she's opened something. That's a key she's holding, look. I'm sure that wasn't in her hand before, was it? No, you're quite right. It's appeared as if by magic. That's strange. A big old iron key. Where did it materialize from? Iris.
Take that!
Yes, the real reason for your silence until now is that key behind your back. Ah! When Mr. Sholmes was thrown into the air before... Just before you called out to try to stop him, you slipped something out of your mouth. Oh, the key was in her mouth. Oh. That something is the key now in your hands. No doubt the key to the chest. Okay, so shoved in her mouth because we, like, interrupted them. You're so clever, Runo. So now it becomes clear. Thanks to Mr. Sholmes' graphic demonstration, we can well imagine what happened here. But... Professor Mikotaba also opened that metal chest only to be punched into the air. And land sprawled on the settee. But wait, that doesn't explain all the facts. What about the stylish scarf and the cup of tea? And above all, why would it be wearing Kazuma-sama's mask? Well, for those curious details, I can think of only one explanation. Clearly, an unbelievable miracle took place in this room. Isn't that right, Iris? Oh, everything was on the fucking couch. We went flying, or on the box. The mask, the teacups, the shawl. Consider how the room was arranged before this whole painful experience took place. When Professor Mikotaba opened the chest, completely unaware of what awaited him inside, the mask was flung into the air just as he was, only to land neatly on his face when it fell back down. And the teacup's journey through the air ended when it caught on the unconscious professor's finger. You mean to say that the stylish scarf is actually just a tablecloth? This is the great detective's office, after all, a place of miraculous deductions. Would you expect anything less? Yes, you're right. It happened exactly as you said. Brilliant, Runo. Thus concludes Ryunosuke Naruhodo's great deduction of this punchy puzzle. A bizarre series of events. So then, why don't I make a fresh pot of tea for us all?
Objection!
Oh! An admirable performance, Mr. Naruhodo. But, in the final act of the show there, you rather missed everything of importance. Mr. Sholmes, if you would cast your mind back to my earlier deduction. Iris, clearly you're hiding a great secret. Ah! She is? From the look on her face. Mr. Sholmes must be right. Whatever that great secret is, the cat isn't out of the bag yet. So I put it to you again. You were attempting to abscond with that coffee cup. It really is a shame about Mr. Sholmes' cup. It must have been smashed when Professor Mikotaba opened the chest. Oh dear, so many things seem to have been broken here. But now the deduction has taken a different direction. Iris doesn't seem to be trying to hide the broken cup anymore. In other words, her great secret is something else. Let's put our observational skills to work here one final time then. Ah, the note under it. A case file? Oh no. I think she's found out about her dad. Oh, look, there. There seem to be more papers there. Is Iris trying to hide them underneath the tray? The insignia, Mr. Naruhodo. It's an official Scotland Yard document. Interesting. Well, her dad didn't die in England, he died in Japan, right? So it wouldn't be Scotland Yard then. Interesting. What? But why would Iris have... We must ask her. Official Scotland Yard document. What are you doing, Iris?
Take that!
You were attempting to abscond with that case file. Iris, as you know very well, nothing escapes the attention of a great detective. Oh no. Yeah, the one stolen from the morgue, yeah. We visited Scotland Yard's autopsy laboratory earlier today. And Dr. Gorey informed us that the autopsy report of Clint Van Zieks had gone missing. Clint Van Zieks, yes, I do seem to recall. That's some years ago I asked to see the report in question. You were with me, weren't you, Iris? So Sholmes didn't take it, Iris did? You mean it was you, Iris? So those papers you have there are... I'm sorry. Forgive me! Why did Iris take the papers? Interesting. To hide the case file. I assumed Sholmes stole them just because he's a bit arrogant and he just wanted to hang on to them to read, but Iris taking them is interesting. Deduction complete. Elementary. In truth, I would like to have thought I could have predicted the booby-trapped chest, but it caught me completely off guard. I was very nearly the late consulting detective Herlock Sholmes. I'm sorry, Hurley. So you mean this autopsy report really is? Yes, I took it from the lab, even though I knew it was very important. Was there something in it that troubled you, Iris? Not exactly something that troubled me. Something I've been looking for. When I saw this report, when I saw the writing in it, I knew it was Daddy's. That's right, they did say he was the... Yeah, in the last stream, I think they said John H. Wilson was like... He was the primary person doing the autopsy, and Dr. Scythe was the assistant, I think, right? The writing? Your father's writing? What do you really mean? Iris. It must be something that's hard for her to talk about. Forgive me for interrupting, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes, what is it? I feel as though the poor unconscious gentleman on the settee has been somewhat forgotten. Ah, Father! Perhaps we should find our guest somewhere more peaceful to rest. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Would you be so kind as to lend him your bed? We must do our very best to make him comfortable, I feel. Oh, yes, of course. I'll help you carry him up. So will I. No. I can manage alone, thank you. You have tea to enjoy. Who wouldn't want Iris's brew to stew? He's fucking out for the countdown. Because there's no better way to make the professor comfortable than dragging him upstairs like a trunk. I wonder. Perhaps that was deliberate. Maybe Mr. Sholmes is making himself scarce to give Iris the chance to talk more freely. We must use this opportunity to talk with Iris. And find out what's going on. Alright, Iris, let's go. Your daddy. Would you like to tell us about it, Iris? About your father? I'm sure I told you before, didn't I? That Daddy used to be Hurley's partner? Yes. And that notes about all the cases they solved together are kept inside that metal chest. That's right. Hurley told me, you see. He said that Daddy's somewhere far away now, so we can't meet. That's one way of describing it. Then, when I secretly unlocked the chest and read through the papers inside, I started to build a picture in my head of what Daddy must be like. Well, that's only natural. You're just like any other girl of your age. I read that Daddy was a professor of medical science, so I studied and took my degree too. But, well, that's only natural, I suppose. In that respect, you're not quite like any other girl of your age, though. But there was one thing that I could never find out. Daddy's name. His name wasn't anywhere on any of the notes that he'd made about his work with Hurley. But then one day... That's what happened, is it? When you saw this autopsy report, you finally managed to work it out. Is that right? Yes. So it was the handwriting in the report that caught her eye. The autopsy report. When I saw the writing on that report, I could hardly believe it. I know that handwriting, I thought to myself. Because it was the same as the writing you'd seen on your father's case notes. Exactly. I was desperate to compare the two properly. I needed to see them side by side. I asked the doctor in the laboratory, but I was told I couldn't take the report away. And even worse, I was told that was the first and last time we'd be allowed to even look at them. So you decided to steal it. When I compared the autopsy report with the case notes I had here, there was no doubt. The handwriting was exactly the same. It was Daddy's. And the signature of the coroner at the bottom of the autopsy report read, Dr. John H. Wilson. So that's how I finally found out. I learned Daddy's name at last. Ugh. It's quite sad, man. I see. Ever since then, I've called myself Iris Wilson. It's also when I had the brilliant idea of writing stories all about Daddy's exciting times with Hurley. I decided there and then that I'd write the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Oh, Iris. I had no idea the stories had such a deep personal significance to you. I can see why the autopsy report was so important to her now. And why she was prepared to break the law to get her hands on it. Well, the Iris is only like, she's only like 7 or 8 or so, and she's really young. Right. Who's this? Is this Sholmes or is this Mikutaba? I'm going to assume this is Sholmes. I must apologize, Iris. Yep. This is really all my fault. Hurley? I made a promise, you see, that until the time was right, I'd keep the details about your father a secret. I know. I've been very naughty. I'll take the autopsy report back to Dr. Gorey and apologize, I promise. Yes. We'll go together, I think. Then, let me look after it for you until we get there. Alright, we can look at the autopsy report for Clint now as well. Nope. I must go and water my herbs, I think. I'll see you all later. Poor Iris. She must be feeling awful. I know Mr. Sholmes is here for her, but still. Ah! What? Hi. What's the meaning of this, Mr. Sholmes? Mr. Sholmes? I should read the autopsy report, shouldn't I? Let's look at the chest first to make sure there's nothing here. What the fuck happened here? Where's a big scratch alongside of it? Have you seen this huge gash across the side of the trunk here? It's gone right through the leather and into the metal behind. Gosh, for metal chests like this, they've been so badly damaged. Whatever made the gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force. I wonder how it happened. God damn. Let's have a look inside. Right here. Look, there's something inside. Oh, let's see. It appears to be a passport, authorizing him to travel overseas. Was Inspector Gregson about to go on a trip abroad then? Perhaps the date of departure might tell us something. That was... Oh. What is it? It was for travel on 31st of October, just one day before the incident. What, really? A passport document that was in Inspector Gregson's possession. It was issued for travel to France the day before his body was discovered. Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered. Did he actually go? Oh shit, fucking blood here too. Look at this dark stain here. Do you think... Yes, I'm afraid so. I think it's blood. Oh, I knew you were going to say that. That presumably means... This was present at the scene when Inspector Gregson was killed. It's the most logical conclusion, yes. Do you think Gina's been carrying this around with her? If you didn't know any better, I suppose it does look like a grease stain from all the fish and chips. I'd be worried about those fish and chips if that's the kind of grease they were giving off. Where's the passport? Name Tobias Gregson. Passport number ACDO 522. Date of departure within 1 week from 31st of October. Destination Port of Dunkirk, France. Purpose of travel police business. Notes permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Was this him when he and Gina were meant to be going? Right, what's up with the autopsy report that Susato was kind of freaking out? Autopsy report. Coroner John H. Wilson. Victim Clint Van Zeek's male. Age 33. Nationality British. Time of death 31st of May between 9 p.m. and midnight. Observations. Death from a single stab wound to the heart. Other superficial external wounds indicative of a duel. Additional notes. Recent scarlet ink stains visible on the little and ring fingers of the right hand, but no document in corresponding ink was found. Autopsy findings. Vital evidence recovered from the victim's stomach during autopsy. Vital evidence recovered from the victim's stomach. Credit to Inspector Gregson for petitioning so doggedly for the autopsy procedure. No internal trauma noted anywhere in the body. John H. Wilson. Alright, back to what's the status. Oh dear me. So, you've noticed, I see. But that would mean... What on earth's the matter, Mrs. Sato? You turned as white as the sheets. What have they noticed that I haven't? Am I missing something like very obvious? Something with Gregson? see it anyway. Here, let me see. It's this autopsy report, Mr. Naruhodo. The one from 10 years ago. The writing isn't Dr. Wilson's at all. What? Uh-oh. Wait, what? Oh no. So, does this mean then that Dr. Wilson didn't write any of the case notes either that were in the box? Is this Sholmes' writing? Huh? But what do you mean? How could you possibly know that? Because I know this writing very well. Is it her father's? This writing is my father's. What the fuck? Uh-oh. What? Professor Mikutaba's? Indeed, it's true. And now you know, my dear fellows. No, I don't know anything. What on earth does all this mean, Mr. Sholmes? Because the idea that's slowly forming in my mind is just too extraordinary to believe. Please, you have to explain. Does that mean Mikutaba was his partner? The autopsy report writing. So this autopsy report was actually penned by Professor Mikutaba then? That's what I'm, like, are they? I'm starting to wonder, because there was a Dr. John H. Wilson, and it was the guy from the very, like, the very start of the first game. And he's definitely a real person. Like, he was a real person, because I'm pretty sure they have records of him coming over as a student from Japan as well. No, he was English based. We'll let the story play out. Like, is that where they're going? Like, that makes no sense. It's not possible, surely. Not possible, my dear fellow. Pray take a deep breath and think again. Yes, you're right. In some ways, actually makes a great deal of sense. It does. 10 years ago, is when Father returned to Japan after his extended study tour in Britain. Extended study tour. And prior to his return, where was Dr. Mikutaba engaged? Of course, he was an assistant in Dr. Wilson's laboratory, learning about forensic science. And as an assistant, he would have aided with the dissection work, making detailed notes. Yeah, so Dr. Wilson was real. You know, he was like a real person. Which would be assembled into the full autopsy report. Once the work was complete, the head coroner would check the content and put his signature on the document. Oh, okay. So, Dr. Wilson didn't write the thing, but he signed it at the end. Okay. It still means, though, that the handwriting... If the handwriting was Dr. Mikutaba's, Mikutaba also wrote the case notes that are in the box. That part at least lines up. In other words, the only writing of Dr. Wilson's in the report would be his signature, yes. So the handwriting that Iris recognized was Mikutaba's. I see. So Iris got the wrong end of the stick, you mean? She saw that and assumed the whole report had been written by Dr. John H. Wilson. Which is very understandable, of course. What a complicated situation. The autopsy has been updated. The report from the autopsy of the professor's final victim. It's signed by Dr. John H. Wilson, who carried out the procedure, though Professor Mikutaba actually penned the report. Your partner. Thinking about it, most of what we know about you, Mr. Sholmes, comes from the published stories of your exploits. Yes, the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, written by Iris. And we really have no way of knowing what's fact and what's fiction. Most troubling for you, my dear fellow, I'm sure. So What about the supposed partner of yours? Did he really exist or not? Ah, you've come straight to the point, I see. And please come straight to the answer. I believe Iris explained it in one of her installments. He was a trusted comrade and the only person I could truly have called a friend. Did this partner of yours truly make a record of all your cases? Are his notes really stored inside that metal chest? Absolutely, my dear madam. Absolutely. So, was Mikutaba the partner? So, where's your partner now? He's sleeping upstairs. We rarely meet. Oh. Maybe not then. You see, he lives on the other side of the world. It's possible. Show him stop being fucking cryptic. He's in the bed upstairs. Say it. He's Japanese, probably, right? If it's Professor Mikutaba, he's from Japan, so that makes sense, right? But he's being fucking cryptic. Just say he's upstairs in the bed. But if this autopsy report and the records of all your old cases were penned by the same hand, and if the autopsy report was written, though not signed, by your famous partner, there would be only one logical conclusion. Pray, impress me. Your partner would have to be Yujin Mikutaba. In other words, Miss Sasato's father. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? You are coming along wonderfully. You have hit upon the method at last. You finally grasped the art of deduction. You mean to say... Allow me to introduce you to Dr. John H. Wilson, my great friend and partner, Mikutaba. This is the fictional Dr. John H. Wilson. Professor Mikutaba? Sholmes and Mikutaba. Does this mean that you're the real Dr. Wilson? No, my dear. I'm still my old self. Yujin Mikutaba, your father. Oh, of course. This is obviously too much for Sasato-san to take in. I must say, though. So then, yeah, is it possible? Iris would be about 10 years old, right? I don't know. I'll not assume we're going that direction for now. But, like, if Mikutaba is the real partner, and Dr. Wilson was only his boss, I guess, and they just used his name for the stories, then, you know, who is Iris' father? Is it the boss or is it the partner, you know? I must say, though, how my old friend has attained worldwide celebrity as a great mystery solver is the greatest mystery of all. Doesn't really mean Wilson is Mikutaba, right? So there is a real Dr. John H. Wilson. It was Mikutaba's boss at the time of the professor killings when Van Zieks' brother was killed. Her dad could still be the real Wilson. Yeah, he could be. Yeah, absolutely, he could still be. Yeah, there's nothing confirming it. I'm just like, you know. I think it's still very, very possible that the actual John H. Wilson was her father. Yeah. I still remember the first time we met. Ah, pray remind me. When was it again, Mikutaba? 16 years ago, Sholmes. Ah, yes, quite. 16 years ago. I just arrived from Japan with Seishiro and Genshin. This is when the three of them came over. So this was, yeah, Mikutaba. Seishiro was the judge, right? And then Genshin was the professor, Kazuma's dad. I was in search of lodgings close to the hospital. Some comfortable rooms at a reasonable price. But rents are devilishly high in that particular area. That's right. So I decided I needed someone to share lodgings and the expense. Here we go. I was fortunate enough to be introduced to Sholmes, who found himself in a similar situation. I was a callow fellow back then, a mere shadow of the great detective you see before you now. That's the start of the Sherlock Holmes stories, right? Them getting the flat together. I was working at the hospital's chemically laboratory at the time, indulging my curiosities for little gain. I think that's the same in the stories as well, like he's working in a lab or something like that. It's fun. And the situation of our cohabitation led to us pursuing cases together, you see. Hard to believe. It was a mere 6 years. We had a great many adventures. But in the last year of Mikutaba's stay in Britain, that most infamous of cases presented itself. The Professor case. The case with which you become rather familiar yourselves. The Professor killings. After the trial, Seishiro and I were summoned back home. Hardly surprising given the circumstances. So there you have it. And as you know, all the details recorded by my trusty chronicler remain in that metal chest. It's just amazing. Professor Mikutaba really is Mr. Sholmes' famous partner? This one. Father. Goodness, my dear. What a cutting look. As your daughter, I'm very proud to learn that you were the great detective's great partner. But nevertheless, there's another mystery that I really must ask you to explain now. Oh. Daddy, were you fucking about town when you were in England town? We don't know her mum, right? We've never met. I don't know if the mum is like, what their situation is, but we've never met Susato's mum, I don't think. And that is? You know very well what it is. Right, what's our bets? Are Susato and Iris half-sisters, or are they... Or is it actually the real Dr. Wilson was the dad? What do we think, okay? Iris has bright pink hair, right? But it could also be dyed, so we don't really know. The unresolved matter of Iris's father. I'm also kind of on the no. Yeah, I think I know as well. Ah, of course, I'd almost forgotten about that one. I should have seen this coming, I suppose. Iris told us that all the notes about the great detective's adventures that are in that metal chest were written by her father. Right, so who told her that? Was that Sholmes told her that? Isn't that correct, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, okay. So Sholmes told her that. That is indeed what I told young Iris. Okay, what he told her. But if you're Mr. Sholmes' partner, father, and you wrote all those case notes, then Iris's father must be you. Ah! Upon my word, Miss Susato. You are coming along wonderfully as well. You too have hit upon the method at last. You finally grasp the art of deduction. What? What you've always told me, father, is that my mother died when I was born 16 years ago, and you left me in grandmother's care while she embarked on your study tour of Britain. And I've always accepted that, but all this about Iris. Oh, there it is. Susato-san's ice-cold stare. No, now hold on a minute. It was very complicated. I mean, it's really not what you think. Now, perhaps you'd like to explain exactly what it is. The fucking Susato takedown now. Now the eyes go from ice-cold to red-hot just before she... No, really, you've got the wrong end of the stick. Sholmes, say something, man. Alright, boys, lay the deets out time. Oh, he's on his outfit time. He's ready to go. That's quite enough, my fiery fellows. Mr. Sholmes, when did he get all dressed up? Also, don't like to interrupt this exciting exploration of the past. Mikutaba and I have an urgent matter that requires a short excursion. No! Don't do it, you bastard. It's very late, Mr. Sholmes. Where must you go? Why, my dear madam, is that not obvious? My partner and I must pursue our natural enemies. So, get your coat, Mikotaba. The game is afoot. Let's go. Oh, but Sholmes. I really must. Watson, the game is afoot. I really must give Susato a full explanation, I think. Later, my dear fellow, later. Our carriage waits downstairs already. He does have the Watson look as well. The moustache and the hat and the suit and everything like that. Funny because we only ever saw him in like his kimono or his yukata, whatever the right term is, when he was in Japan. You haven't changed one iota, have you? I mean, really. I visited our home after 10 long years. And when I opened that chest in a fit of nostalgia, I quite inexplicably pass out. As if that wasn't enough, when I eventually regain consciousness, I'm plunged straight into all this. Father, please, go with Mr. Sholmes now. But I've no doubt that whatever happened, you were acting in everyone's best interests. I trust you, completely. Susato. And sending the great detective and his great partner off on renewed adventures together. More than I could have hoped for in my wildest dreams. Very well then. We'll speak again later. So, I believe your own work is done for the day. I wish you the best of luck for tomorrow. Yes, Naruhodo. Good luck in battle. And in researching and reaching a decision. A decision? About whether to go back to Japan, I suppose? This shit. Wild on high.
So much happened that day that I barely knew what to do with myself. It would only be later that I'd come to realize how amidst the chaos I'd unleashed were all the clues I needed to finally unearth the truth. And that all the turmoil was necessary to give me the resolve to see everything through.
Oh. Just so hype, huh? Wait, is that the end of the adventure? Oh shit. Oh, it is! Oh fuck, that's the end of the adventure 4. Ah, oh god. Fuck, we're approaching the end of the game. We're in the last adventure now, adventure 5. The Resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo, Trial Part 1. Ah! Uh-oh. Oh, Jesus. Final chapter. The Resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm really sad there's not a third Great Ace Tournament game. I'm not really saying about these characters. 3rd of November, 9:14 a.m. The Old Bailey defendants and the chamber. Like I'm super excited to get to like the actual Phoenix Wright era stuff, but saying goodbye to this particular group is gonna be quite sad. So, the time's finally come. Today, we unravel everything. I'll be counting on your support more than ever today, Miss Susato. Miss Susato? Ah! Oh, oh no, what's the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Nothing? I was just saying that I'll be relying on your support today, but... I'm so sorry, of course, I know I can be rather incompetent at times, but... I shan't let you down. Would you mind helping me to my feet, then? Should I play Hades and watch this? That's intense, that's multitasking. Oh dear, I'm really very sorry. Susato-san isn't her usual self at all. That's hardly surprising, I suppose. She's just found out that her father is the partner of a world-famous detective. Not to mention... Ah, good morning, sir. Van Zieks. Lord Van Zieks. Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. What? Did I hear that correctly? What? Oh, no, nothing. Just, I hope we can clear things up today. I really can't make this man out. His face says, I hate you, but his words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday. Lord Van Zieks isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Good point. The Reaper. I suppose in hindsight, I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Huh? It was my tacit acceptance of that pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than a mere legend that led to all this. But you're not to blame for that, Lord Van Zieks. It's only because serious crime in the capital dropped off so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it? To be frank, I'm not sure that was the sole reason. What do you mean? There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother. That having been slain by that evil killer, Clint's restless spirit returned as some sort of demigod to wield the deadly blade of justice where I, by dint of the law, could not. Yes, we've heard that story too. Someone did tell us that, I can't remember who. And I lost him. I felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. I didn't know where to go or what to do. And so, in some small way, I wonder if perhaps those rumors made me feel his absence a little less keenly. Even if I knew it was just an illusion. Just some nonsense conjured up by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you, Lord Clint Van Zieks. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know you didn't take anyone's life. And I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in court today. I never thought I'd say this, but I can see it in your eyes. That burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a lawyer of absolute integrity. Thank you. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? Uh-oh, there's Iris. Oh, Iris, when did you get here? Oh. I brought you one of my special blends. Hurley loves it. He says it helps him to clear his head. I thank you. Oh, hee. Surely the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. Seemed different today, Iris. Oh? Sort of subdued, I suppose. I am not. What happened yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Seitz's laboratory. Alright then. Good luck to you both. I have to make a move now. Oh, you're not staying? I thought you'd want to watch today's proceedings. Well, I'd like to cheer you on, obviously. But I've got lots to get ready. Get ready for what? Oh, yes. Would you take this? Isn't that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack? Yes, it's a lucky charm. A little Hurley that I made once. Oh, it's very cute. A Hurley? Looks more like a Hairley to me. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, is the other one her? It is, isn't it? The other little, you can see it down there. The other little dangly doll is her. It's a little pink rabbit. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. What? Pull his ears? That's right. It's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it. That's very sweet. A little doll of Mr. Sholmes in hair form. I've been told to tug its ears if I run out of options in the trial today. You think what we'll need is luck? I just sneaked a peek inside the courtroom. And it seems very different to normal. Yes, it would seem that a certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops What does that mean? What's Kazuma done, huh? What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? Can we look at the doll? Can we do anything with it? Hee. It's very cute. What a charming little rabbity version of Mr. Sholmes. Do you suppose this is how Iris sees him? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Your eyes are veritably boring into the poor doll's ears. Oh, sorry, I was just wondering. What do you suppose would happen if I were to tug its ears with all my might right now? I'm sure that we'll find out when the time is right. To become a proper gentleman, you really must learn stoic patience. But I want to know! It's very cute. Huh. What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? I don't know. He was out all night and he hasn't come home by the time I left this morning. Oh, I see. Was Professor Mikutaba out all night too, do you think, Mrs. Sato? Yes, it would seem so. I telegrammed the hotel this morning. And apparently, they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all. They? Father and Judge Jigoku, I mean. Judge Jigoku too? That's right, nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. Good luck then, Reno. Good luck, Susie. Yes, thanks, Iris. And you, Mr. Reaper. I hope it goes well. Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very soothing. Oh, I'm so glad. We must go inside, Lord Van Zieks. Let's go. Lord Van Zieks has always been the formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court. But not today. Today, I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, Kazuma Asugi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny had in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial, to this one final reckoning. 3rd of November, 9:30 AM. The Old Bailey courtroom. No jury again. No judge either. Where's the judge at? Feels even more oppressive here than it did yesterday. Cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, look! Oh! Oh shit, fucking Lord Strongheart. Oh no. Lord Strongheart. Kazuma must have known beforehand. The ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of his execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, Male Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. Oh god. Jury lights anyway, the flames. The 6 jurors' flames just... As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, these here, present in the public gallery, are distinguished members of our judiciary, assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. Got him. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Van Zieks. You are a prosecutor of exceptional talent. Much like your brother, Clint, in fact. Oh. He gavels his fucking staff. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. He's gonna have to spread his wings, right? And the birds are gonna have to come on. for the trial of Barak van Zieks, who officially stands accused of murder. No bird, but he spread his arms at least. Some music, though. Counsels for the prosecution and defense. Are you in full readiness to proceed? The defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceeding brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. Mr. Daily Vigil, who would be given the inspector's identification and present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work when in fact he wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It would appear he buried his memories of the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation. Because whilst he was engaged as chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted the convicts' escape. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Sinners. He's recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson whilst investigating the Red-Headed League. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed one day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Asugi. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. Big ups to Maria, whatever her name is. It's entirely possible that Inspector Gregson was killed on 31st of October, the day before his body was discovered. I have here an updated autopsy report that includes the amended details. But the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday, that the time of death was 5 PM on the 1st of November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. My lord, this is more than just conjecture. Was he in France, maybe? He was like being stored on a ship from France, maybe? My lord, this is more than just conjecture. There's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly. Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes, especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. It's conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities? Scotland Yard put an enormous effort into investigating that precise matter yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work to the prosecution. It calls its first witness now. Oh, who are we getting? Gina? Yeah. Okay. State your name and occupation for the court. Inspector Gina Lestrade reporting. Representative of Scotland Yard. A self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina, again? What's your problem, Odo? What's with that Gina again look, eh? Ah. The boss meant the world to me. He done more for me than anyone else ever did. Oh? Inspector Gregson, you mean? He got me out of the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing. Taught me that life can have a purpose. So that's why I'm the best person to be standing here speaking for him. Oh, Gina. Alright. All out of the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not at all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes, no. What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations yesterday. It was revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling. That face. Lord Strongheart knew. So, Inspector Lestrade. Let's hear exactly what it says in that report. Coming right up, sir. Alright, Gina, let's go. The victim's movements. All yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. While a little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a little secret meetings in it. Gina told us about this notebook. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealing that day. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is, there's witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too. Okay. Smuggled goods? I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what was written in the book. Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines, goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets? It's been suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activity. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of his investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority, without the Yard's knowledge. Do we know where the dealings were taking place this time? In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman's club. And on the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter. That can't be. We haven't heard anything about any of this. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question. The accused, Barak van Zieks, was present. That would be very significant testimony then. Oh my, but... Lord van Zieks made no mention of this at all. In short, Lord van Zieks has ample opportunity to murder the victim. Very well then. Counsel for the defense, begin your cross-examination. Alright, Gina. We're going to press you for every detail here. So all the detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. Alright. They're just going to press everything Gina says.
Hold it!
So, you follow orders, do you, Gina? Nah, not me. I'm above all that, see? Oh. The boss always had special orders for me. Grab us some fish and chips, or go and give Toby his grub. That kind of thing. So, errands more than orders then. This detective is still an apprentice after all. Yeah, well, this apprentice ain't one to sit around and wait to be told what to do, even by the boss. That's why I've been doing my own investigations into what happened. I didn't find much at first. But a little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it, alright?
Hold it!
We don't have the book as evidence yet, so you went through Inspector Gregson's things? Yep. As part of the independent Lestrade investigation. I'm sure your superiors will be delighted that you're taking the initiative. So I snuck into his office when no one else was about. Because if anyone at the Yard had seen me going in there, they'd have turfed me straight out on the street. This is sounding less and less like an investigation and more like something else. The prosecution understands that it was this very detective who discovered the notebook. You got that right. Nothing gets past Inspector Lestrade and her trusty assistant, Chief Inspector Toby. We found it in one of his desk drawers that had a false bottom. That's impressive. So then I went to hide myself where no one could find me so I could have a butcher's of what was written in it. Because if anyone at the Yard had found me, they'd have turfed me straight out on the street. I've given it in thought. Given it in now thought. You know what? I've given it in now. In now though, ain't I? Fucking, I can't speak. And if it weren't for me, it never would have been found. I don't think we'd be able to look at this book. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled good dealing that day. Good dealings today. Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yep. It was all there in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember. As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yes, I remember, but I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary. What? It's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name in these proceedings. I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I've got to do is read it out. And I could too. I've got this reading game buttoned up now. Can't I show you what I can do? Go on, what's the harm? The judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do? I think we'll wait and see. Gina's only just learned to read. There's a good chance she might make a mistake. I worry she might mix up the letters P and Q and B and D. That's enough of your cheek, Otto. I'm way past E now. I've got all the way to D. Just to err on the side of caution, the defense will wait until the witness can read all the letters up to Z. Z. In that case, let's get back to the witness's testimony, shall we? Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet, okay?
Hold it!
Why not? So how did Inspector Gregson come to find out about it in that case? That's the question, ain't it? Well, just an apprentice, so... Why didn't he inform Scotland Yard of his findings? Yeah, that's what I was asking myself, because, you know, I'm just an apprentice. When it suits you, yes. Anyway, the point is, something went on at that club, no question. Can't say that for certain, though, surely. I'm getting a lot of ideas here. What matters most is there's witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too.
Hold it!
Lord Van Zieks was at the club? What an interesting question, huh? He was. Detectives who visited the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it. Several members reported having seen the accused being admitted to the room in question as a guest. Looks like there's no disputing that he was there then. Well, we know that Lord Van Zieks was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Perhaps he'd already discovered the Inspector's secret notebook. Which led him to the club, you mean? Maybe. Presumably then, there are also eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there. None have been identified at this time, no. What? So they saw Van Zieks but they didn't see Gregson? So the all-important victim wasn't seen at this mysterious club. Oi! Why ain't you asking Inspector Lestrade here, eh? So that's all I've got to work with. Gina's not holding back with that ice-cold stare of hers, is she? I really don't know what to make of all this. Lord Van Zieks told us he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned that he met the Inspector the day before the incident. You don't think Lord Van Zieks could have been lying to us, do you? That's not the only way to explain this. Oh. If everything Lord Van Zieks has told us is true, then there must be a mistake in his testimony somewhere. You mean there are details we've yet to uncover? Exactly. A clue, perhaps, that even Gina hasn't noticed. That's what we should be looking for here. Maybe we might ask Gina to reveal the, see if she can tell us the name of the club. Maybe we might do that. Kazuma really doesn't want it, but it might be something.
Hold it!
We'll press on it. Because the Lord Strongheart didn't object, so I think we can ask her, but we'll see what she says. Alright, we're gonna ask Gina about the thing. Insist. This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. But? No, my lord. The prosecution has no objection. Let's go. Alright, let's hear. Kazuma? There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail or on the day in question. If the defense requires to know the club's name, the prosecution has no intention of being obstructive. Right then, I get to show off my reading skills. Apparently the smuggled goods deal was going to happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse.
Hold it!
The Grouse? What sort of a club is that? I ain't got the foggiest. Clubs ain't exactly my thing. But I am kind of curious. They're not places where a foreign student like you would be readily admitted. Have you looked in the mirror recently? I tell you what, me and Chief Inspector Toby could go in undercover. Could you though? I could pick out a few good marks and see what else I could find out while I was in there. I really don't think you should go picking out anything. Anyway, that's where these black market dealings were going to take place, is it? Yeah, it's gotta be. That's what the lower ranking detectives at the yard reckon. Says the even lower ranking detective. The Grouse? Do we have anything about that? Wait, why do we have this boat ticket again? It's right in the back of. Okay. Huh. So we think Gina could have made a mistake in her reading. So are we assuming she's correct, or are we assuming there was a mistake there? Anything in his identification? Open up and have a look. No. Just details about the ID. Smuggled goods deal was going to happen at a gentleman's club. A club called the Grouse. Look inside here again. We got the passport, right? I don't think we look at anything else. Yeah, it's the passport. Interesting. Anything on the passport, maybe? I'm unsure. We've pressed everything. Blackbird line. Yeah, cycle through. That's what I got to work with. Units not holding back at ice cold stair purrs. If everything Lord Van Zeeks told us is true, then there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere. A clue perhaps that even Gina hasn't noticed. Why can we not see this book? They're not allowing it to go into evidence. Do we have an alibi for Van Zeeks? I don't think so. So this was the day before the incident. I don't think we have anything that places Van Zeeks somewhere else. So this is on the 31st, right? The Redheaded League thing. I don't remember when that was. Bum, 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 bum. Brain's having a stump, huh? I'm still confused why we have this photo. Clint Van Zeeks' thing, the passport. Searched the office, turned up a notebook that had a load of secrets on it. Apparently the smuggled goods deal was going to happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. What was said when we pressed this again? Oh, it's Gina being curious about foreign students not getting in. Gina wanting to go undercover. Pick out some marks. And the lower ranking detectives figured out that's where the deal was going to take place. Do we have anything to say that the cops were onto it? I don't think so. Paul's ears. I need it already. I need the lock. Anything in the Asuki papers? No. Never think of the Grouse, think of fucking Gris from Skyward Sword. Huh? What the fuck even is a Grouse? Is a Grouse a word? I'm not gonna search Ace Attorney anything, I'm just gonna define Grouse. Okay, I'm starting to think that is it a bird? Yeah, it's a medium to large game bird. Yeah. I'm stumped now. Reading through Gina's dialogue again.
Hold it!
So when we press this one, this just means that Lord Van Zeeks was at the club. This is just the ones where we find out that no witnesses saw Gregson there. That's all we get from here. Curious. Has to be a mistake in the testimony.
Hold it!
Sometimes when you reveal new testimony things, they like if you press older ones or other ones, you get more details. But I don't think so in this one.
Hold it!
Fuck. Don't mean to press that key and scared the shit out of myself. I'm assuming when she means his office, she doesn't mean the secret office, the crime scene. I assume she means like his actual office, right? Why can we not view the book as evidence? Oh, it's smallpox over there. It's not like Van Zieks was at the fucking the Red-Headed League thing, so we don't even have an alibi for him then. I'm stumped. This feels like a one I'll have to think about overnight, maybe. So if Gina is reading it wrong, what could it be? I don't know. We've pressed everything, so we can't get any more information from just pressing, so we have to present something. The spouse? Well, we know she knows up to, like, V or something, right? And there's not even another person who can react to things she says, and we can press them. It's just Gina on her own. But Ryunosuke reckons she's made a mistake. What do we get from this one, but the copper's not been onto it yet? This is just about why Gregson doesn't tell anyone. It's not massively helpful. Does she know Van Zieks? I suppose the witnesses have just said that they saw the Reaper. I assume when they say the Reaper saw the... When the witnesses saw the Reaper, I assume they mean the witnesses saw Van Zieks there. Gina would know him, yeah, Gina knows Van Zieks. From the first game. She's known him for a while, like. This is the only new piece of information, if he was mentioned in the book. I don't know if he was. The awkward thing is we don't have the book, so we can't use it to reference anything, you know. Yeah, his name would be at the end. I did present something. And we don't have an alibi for Van Zieks. That's the only thing. But it's very possible he was there if he was following Gregson. We just don't have indication that Gregson himself was there. That's the awkward thing. I think I'll think of the idea overnight. I think we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Good progress today, good story, revelations and stuff. Very curious. We're in the final act of the final adventure now. Mad like, but thanks for watching, folks. We will continue tomorrow, of course. All streaming should be as normal this week, so might be missing one next week, and maybe one the week after as well. But this week is all fine, so we will continue tomorrow and see if we can't uncover this mystery. Good night, everyone. See you later. Bye bye.